All right. I am wondering if everyone is here yet. We're going to let some people file in for a little bit before we continue. Yes, yes, yes. Make sure live chat is working and all that fun stuff. Yes, this is a huge device, and I hope that all the camera and everything is looking good. Wondering if everyone can hear me. Looks like we got 10 people. Oh, I jinxed it. Okay. It is loading for some reason. Wait till a couple more people hop on in, and then we will get going. If someone can get if someone could message on the chat and say whether or not they can hear everything, that would be great. Microphones. Microphone's probably working. Loud and clear. All right. All right. So, everybody, we have had a lot of requests actually for showing off devices in a showcase format because we understand that a lot of these devices are very difficult to come by, and they don't have them at Best Buy, and they don't have them at you know, regular electronic stores where you can just go in and buy them and away you go. That's not a thing for e-readers for the most part, outside of say Kobo Clara or the odd Amazon Kindle Paperwhite that you might find in you know, Best Buy, at Barnes and Noble Nooks, you find in Barnes and Noble stores, etc. This is the Guido. This is currently one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, e-reader in the world. It is around $2,000. It is ridiculously expensive. So we are going to show you guys everything about this, and we're not going to do a review, but we're going to leave it up to you guys as to what you want to see on this. So we're just going to go ahead and open it up, and this thing is an absolute beast, as we've said it before. It is very big, and yeah, this is gigantic. So this is the first time we've done this, so we're going to twiddle around with the camera a little bit. It is we will be getting into a much better format in the future, but here it is so far. So if you guys have any questions in the future, but here it is so far. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want to see on this, let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of navigate around for a little bit. So here it is. This is the home screen on this side, and this will be all of your tag lists, recently viewed, recently added, composers, artists, and of course all scores. So you can check that out on the one side. And on the other side is a list of everything that you have loaded into the unit via your computer. Now, this does only have the ability to run PDF files, much like it seems to be the trend with most Japanese devices. With what do you call like the Sony, the Quaderno? Just most of them seem to be that you only have the ability to run in PDFs. So that's a little bit of a downside. However, you know, most things are in PDF anyways. So as you can see, there's not really that much of a restriction because we have notepads, we have ebooks, we have manga, we have PDF, you know, like magazines, newspapers, all that kind of stuff. So opening up a book, you will see that it is gigantic. It's absolutely massive, and it covers both sides of the device itself. And by doing so, this to date is the biggest device you could actually read on. Anything outside of, say, concept devices that you've seen in trade shows where they are 45 inches from e-ink, you see panels hanging on the wall and stuff like that. This is the biggest one. And with the page turns, you can actually use the sensors on, oh, we're on the last page, great. You can use the sensors on the side. So you don't actually have to touch them, although you could. To 100% get contact, you can touch them like that. Otherwise, you can just wave over them. And you can wave over the top one as well to go back. Little LED indicator at the top will tell you whether you have done it or not. Just like that. Not sure if the chat is working, because I remember last week we did have some chat issues. Nothing was blocked or anything, and it wasn't disabled, but for some reason it just wasn't working very well. But yeah, this thing is truly hinged as well, which means that, like the PadMu, which we have been drawing a lot of parallels to, because this obviously is the only other choice other than the PadMu, this one is hinged directly together with a flat ribbon cable. And why that's important is because the PadMu just uses Onyx hardware. And that's all it uses. It uses Onyx hardware, and they give you a little Ziploc baggie full of stickers that you're supposed to put over everything. But this one's actually hinged. So you can see right there, it's stuck together, and you can't do anything about it. It's just stuck together. And they do have the little rubber stopper points in every corner. So what is the thickness, folded and otherwise? This is your lucky day, because we have prepared for that as per having it be a showcase. So when we do have it fully closed like this, we do have a thickness of less than ½ inch and about 1.3 millimeters, not milliliters. That would be liquid. So that would be the thickness right there. See if I can get an actual, you see, the thing with live is that there's no focus settings. What if I put my hand here to kind of pull focus? Does that work? A little bit. Okay. So folded and closed right about there. So we do have about, yeah, ½ inch there. And then about 1.3 millimeters. 1.3 centimeters. 1.3 millimeters would be ridiculously small. I'm sorry. The thing is incredibly lightweight as well. And you do have 2 buttons on the bottom. One actually opens up a palette where all your stuff is. So you have your pens, your erasers, your square erase, and then all of your note stuff, all of your things that are score related, because this primarily is a music device. Although people have been telling us during our review, we actually touched on a lot of this, because you can read manga on dual screen like that, and that's really cool, because this makes this the largest manga reader. And the second largest manga reader, I guess, would be the Progress Technologies 7.8 inch, which is another made in Japan unit, and it is very good. However, this one just blows it out of the park. It's just ridiculous. It's huge. And yes, you can see you can take notes on it, and it's the same palette across all platforms. So as you hover your pen, you do get your little palette right there. And this is going to be the same if you're on PDF. It's going to be the same if you're on even an ebook, because again, this is only a PDF reader. So you do get that consistency. Does it come with USB-C? It does not, because there we go. It's micro USB with a power button on the side. Yeah, it doesn't pull focus, so I can't really command it to pull back. But yeah, it is a USB micro with a power button on the side, and on the back you do have an SD card slot right there, so you can. And it's funny, the unit is plastic, but this entire piece is metal right here. This is a metal tray, so that sticks in there right there. And yes, the unit is made in Japan. It is not made in China, because we have had a question about that in our comment section. A teen built a tiny house, just asked how much is it. That is the biggest thing about this device, is that it is ridiculously expensive. It is $1,700. The upside is it's still $500 less than the PadMu for a better unit, and something that is catered towards note taking, music editing. And another thing is that they're not using Onyx hardware or anything like that. It's it's their own creation, and it's from the ground up, and they are the only guys that have these touch sensors on the side where you go like that and it changes the page. Now we're going to get into music, because that's what everyone is here to see. So that's what this device is all about. It's about music. Al Breen said, "Nice channel. I totally would buy it if they update the port." You know, that's something that I mean, we're surrounded by technology constantly. Micro USB is just the plug type. You know, people associate USB-C with something that's better, but that's not necessarily true. You could have bad USB-Cs and good micro USBs. Micro USB doesn't mean that something is old, out of date, and out of the run. There are tons of units that use micro USB in all facets of consumer electronics. Some device manufacturers update their ports later on in different builds and different production runs, but some don't, because it doesn't matter. So to have your USB port type be the deciding factor and not the $1,700 price tag, that is interesting, I will say. So we will pass that on to Guido, that it does seem like a plug type is, you know, money's no option, but a plug type actually is. And because we are working with the Guido line, we have received this review sample, and we're moving forward with that. Music editing is very, very cool. So again, you hover your pen over the, actually, I don't think I mentioned that. I mentioned that in the review. If you, but Brainery said micro USB flip 3 times to connect it. You know, some devices that don't actually have the port as prominently the trapezoidal shape, you know how a micro USB is kind of like, it's kind of trapezoidal, but some devices, you know, if you look at the bottom of the device, all you see is that. And yeah, it's like you can't tell which side is the oh, I touched yeah, here we go. You can't tell which side is like the top side or the bottom flat side. You are correct. You do have to flip it around a lot of times. I'd be more willing to consider it if it had Type C. Yes, for example, the Mobi Scribe had a USB micro like that. When the King Gym came out using the Mobi Scribe hardware, they changed it to a USB-C out of their own creation. They didn't really change much else about the device except for that. So yes, a lot of devices do update their things later on. Guido is still testing the market. Basically, if you look at our YouTube channel, we reviewed this first before anybody else back in 2017 when this was created. They have done a lot of updates internally so far, but in the past 4 years, they haven't updated any of the actual hardware yet. So that is something they're going to consider in the future. But because they saw the PadMu come out, they see larger screen devices, they see that the price tags are getting higher. The Onyx Books Lumi is more expensive, you know, the Joan hardware is more expensive. This is their time to strike, and that's why they came out again as Guido. So you do have the page turns on here. I always do that. I'm on the last page. So you just swipe over the top. And why that is because as you're playing your violin and stuff like that, you may not have time to actually do a tap. So you can just swipe over the page. So you're and you swipe over the page like that. So that's where they're coming from. And yes, you do have the ability to go over here to settings and go down to Bluetooth device. They didn't send us the foot pedal or anything else, but you can pair your foot pedal and all your other stuff to this and then step on the foot pedal and away it goes. Do you know if this will sync with Dropbox or Google Drive, for example? I do not know that, actually. Let's find that out together. So Wi-Fi doesn't have any of that. Storage, I believe, is just your SD card and your regular one. and device information. Guido service is downloading from the PC app, and then touch pen switch score display. You know what? Because this isn't running any of their own, they're running their own hardware, and they're not running software. Sorry, they're not running Android or Android 8.1 or 9 or 10 or anything like that. So it's not, as you can see, it's not uniform with any other device you might be using, like your cell phone or something. So no, it doesn't appear that they do have any synchronization with what did you say there, Dropbox or Google Drive. No, it does not look like that. This is more of an offline device, although they do have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I mean, you can go and turn Wi-Fi on and stuff like that, so you can use Wi-Fi networking. Someone said, can we hear you play the piano? Absolutely, Charbax, but not now because I don't have a piano. But I did play piano back in the day, and my family says I was good at it and stuff, but I don't think I was. I bailed on it pretty fast. Not because I didn't like it. I guess it just took too much time. I'm not really sure why. Anyways, moving back. Let's go back to home. And then we will go back to our music. So I did learn how to edit music from Mario Paint. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about doing any of this. But anyways, what you can do actually is hover your pen over the screen. You can see without even tapping it, and it pulls up your palette. So you do have black and gray respectively. So if you want to make kind of temp notes, you can make them in gray. It'll render, it'll turn gray. If you want to erase things, you can use the erasers, or you can use the back of the pen as well. But it's actually recommended that you use the white pen, because then you don't just erase what you've written, you actually erase the PDF itself. So you can get rid of all those notes like that. You can erase them all like that. Erase them like that. And then you can be like, oh yeah, I didn't want a peso here. I wanted a je ne sais quoi. I don't know anything about music, by the way. So then you do your treble clef like that. We have had some people say, if you're going to go live on this, make sure you're a musician. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone who is a true musician here within Goodereader. So yes, we have another question, and someone says, how much does it weigh? That is a very good question. And what I'm going to do is leave it on here for exactly, I don't know, 10 seconds or so, because I'm going to reach over there and grab the scale. I thought I was all smart preparing the tape measure, but I did not prepare the actual scale. Good question. How much does it weigh? So we're going to close this up. Now, unfortunately, we are in Japan right now, so we only have access to metric, but I will do a conversion on my phone for you guys as to keep it easy for our American friends, because of course, a lot of the 95% of the world uses metric, but there are some people that use imperial still. So putting it on scale, we have 650 grams, which is, can't do that off of my head. 650 grams is 1.43 pounds, or 22.92 ounces. So that is how heavy it is. It's actually really lightweight. This thing is very lightweight, and it is built. It is one of the best built devices. They've even put these little rubber stoppers on the back lengthwise to prevent it from damaging the hinge, so it has something to kind of clasp onto when you close it. So that all that is just, it's very intelligent the way they approach the production of this. They obviously spared no expense, because the expense falls on, well, us, the people buying it. That's where the expense falls onto. So yes. What do we have for questions here? How much does it weigh? Yeah, I wonder how much pro/semi-pro musicians really love this device and how many people use it. Charbox, we have had, since our business relationship with PadMu, who is the only other music producer right now who just uses two Lumis side by side, and you have to sync them together via Bluetooth. It's not a good experience, but it's the only choice other than this. And we have sold a ton of PadMus. We sell them all the way from Switzerland to Italy to the US, of course. We sell them everywhere. So there is a market for this, which is why Guido has sat on the back burner for so long, and now because we have a Goodereader Japan branch, we bring it to the public. So to answer your question, there are a great deal of people that will use this. I am using an iPad Pro 12-inch, and it's a nice piece of hardware, and it's good to annotate music. When you face larger pieces like a sonata with 16 pages, you need something like this. That is exactly why they created this. That's the reason they created this. Now I understand, I love consumer electronics too. I love phones. I love, video games and stuff like that. If you're not I'm going to slap my hands while I do this. If you're not a professional musician, you don't need this. Is it cool? Absolutely. It's really cool. And it does so much more than just music. You can take notes on it. With the little note we did yesterday. And you hover over the thing and you're like, oh, there's my stuff, and I can go right to the first page, or I can use the the waiver things, and you do have black, gray, and white, and then a couple thicknesses here. They don't just limit you to music sheets and that's it. Like it's not some proprietary format. But if you are a musician, it has a great deal of value, an extreme deal of value with this. Someone says, can you weigh it in sushi equivalent? Well, how much is a piece of sushi? Like 60 grams maybe. So it's like 10. What's that? 100? I don't even know, man. I don't know, like 30 pieces of sushi, or like a big heavy bento box with 30 pieces of sushi, or like a big heavy bento box with those what do you call futomaki, those big round sushis. Yeah, man. Those are good all day long. Can you get a case for it? Team Built Tiny House. Yes, you can. However, they currently don't make cases that cover the device while it's open, unfortunately. And that's because of the unique nature of how it's built. The rubber stoppers on the back, the flex cable, the sides, and of course these wave sensors. And that is why they don't have a case for it while it's open. However, they do have a folio, like a folder that you buy the device, and it's in the box. You guys can go over to our YouTube channel and check out the unboxing. Want to see that. Your lack of musical knowledge is disturbing. I wish I had that back in the 2000s when I was teaching music. The unboxing showed a slipcase. William Hostman, I'm terribly sorry. I'm not as good of a musician as you are. Back in the 2000s when I was teaching music. The unboxing showed a slipcase. William Hostman, I'm terribly sorry. I'm not as good of a musician as you are. I'm pretty sure I know a lot of things that you don't. So let's all just get along here and pretty sure I know a lot of things that you don't. So let's all just get along here and, be nice to each other. I filmed the Guido in April 2017 at a trade show. How long has the Guido been on sale now? So Charbox, we also filmed back in 2007. The company CEO and the managing director personally met with us at Vancouver, BC, at our Goodereader office, and we had the first looks at the Guido. They let us, we have 2 videos on it if you want to go check it out. I think it was April 2nd of 2017. We filmed it, and we said, let's get going with this. But for many years, they didn't actually sell it themselves because it wasn't really a time to strike. And at the time, 2017, we had like $90 Kindles. You know what I mean? Note-taking didn't really take off. Note-taking started in 13-14 with the Sony DPT, but it didn't take off to the point that it's here now. And people are paying, $1,000 for a, what do you call it? like a Lumi, and people are paying $900 for a DPT, and the DPT RP1 is made in 2014. People will still buy them. Fujitsu Quaderno came out, and people are buying those for $800 USD. So that's why they feel that this was a time to strike back when price was less of a concern. People are buying $2,000 smartphones nowadays. Al Bryn. I guess, sorry. Charbox, to say how long has Guido been selling it for? We are selling this because we have Goodereader Japan branch. We have had communication and contact and relationships with Guido, and now that we have we've always had an English-speaking channel, but we have international an infrastructure to sell this anywhere in the world. So we are selling it now. and you can buy it on our site. We've sold not as many as the PadMu, we must say, but we have sold a few. And again, they're really just going to the musicians out there. They're not really just going to someone that says, I really want to read manga. Although you could, if you want to buy this. And actually, you know what? Someone in Goodereader Studio here in Japan said before our review, you could download manga stencils, and you could actually, like, if you want to go like Nami's face here, you delete her eye and be like, okay, let me see if I can recreate the eye. You choose a really small pen and you draw the eye like that. And then you're like, oh yeah, it has like a little thing. And anime, they usually draw like the little, little reflection circle. And then you try to recreate the eye. You can actually download stencils and learn how to animate and draw a manga based off this device, because the writing is very nice. And I'll get to the pen in a second, because the pen is totally unique as well, and it's built from the ground up. Yes, Al Bryn says, my question about the Dropbox sync came out because I have a lot of sheet music. Well, if you're using this device on its own, Al, yes, it would be a little bit inconvenient, because you can't directly transfer things to Dropbox and Google Drive, as you've been as you mentioned there. However, you can use a computer in the interim, and that's how we got all of our things here. We got the Beckett baseball, we got A Christmas Carol, PDFs. We put magazines on this. That's because you can just use a computer and drag and drop. And unlike the Sony and the Fujitsu and the Remarkable, you don't need computer software to put things on here. So you don't need to use, the digital paper app to drag and drop things onto here. You simply just drag and drop with your PC in a folder. It puts it on here and you're good to go. And you put a, 64 gig card in the back, 128 gig card, and you're good all day long. Music sheets obviously depend on the amount of pages they are, and they can be anywhere from 6 to 100 pages depending on the sonata and all that. So make sure you grab an SD card. But yeah, again, if you're just joining us, how I'm turning pages is they have these wave sensors. You can tap them if you'd like, or you just wave past them, and then if you'd like, or you just wave past them, and then they just go past. And that's really cool, because as you're playing your little flutes and stuff like that, it's good to not have to find a page button and be like, oh no, which one's the button, and make a mistake, etc. Al Bryn, yes, that was bad vibes. I don't get them. Same with me. Yes, everyone knows different things. I'm sure William Hossman knows way more about music than I would, and I commend you for that. If you have a problem with my music know-how, I do apologize, but this is what it is. And if you want to look at this device, please stay tuned and let's continue on. The amount of space would be good for role-playing game manuals too. Absolutely, William Hostman. You can put in your D&D Monsters manual into here, no problem, and just use it away. It's really the same thing as anything I'd show you. So for example, this Beckett baseball. And why we use this is because we use this as a constant. We put this on the Kindle. We put this from a $49 device all the way to a $2,000 device. This is the constant we use, and because we don't change the PDF, this remains consistent through color devices, etc. Yeah, you can put your D&D manual on here. And a cool thing is that you can also, if you want to be a DM, you put it up like that, and hide away from all the players in the game, and you're now the dungeon master. All what do you call you have like a partition. A teen built tiny house. Will any micro SD card work? Micro SD cards work, but Guido has not supplied us with the exact amount of the storage capacity. So we don't know if you can put a 1 TB card in there or not. We will put that on our website, of course, because we literally just started selling this about 3 days ago. We did the unboxing, and then we did the we did a little bit of touring around. We had a bunch of people in the office here figure out how to use it, and we're like, oh, this does this and this does this, and oh yeah, you can actually hold your eraser above the screen. I don't know why it says that sometimes. It says try again in a few seconds. Let's go to the note taker. Yeah, you can actually hold your eraser above the screen and do erasing. And I'll show you that right now. So you can hold your pen above the screen. There you go. See? I'm not even touching the screen. Like you can see, like I'm, you know, I was tilting it. Yeah. It's not a note-taking giant. So if you're gonna see these delays and you're gonna see this staining and stuff, don't be swayed by that. Don't be dissuaded by that, because this is a music note taker. We've had a bunch of people even on the review say, "Oh, that thing is slow," and it's like, well, they don't care about, note-taking latency, because they're competing with who? PadMu. That's literally the only other choice on the market. So Charbox says, which is best, the PadMu or the Guido? If you guys go over to our YouTube channel, you will see the unboxing, the review of the PadMu, and you will also see the unboxing review of the Guido. We do a completely unbiased view of exhibition of both of those, because we are unbiased, because we sell everything. We have no more of a connection with Guido than we do with PadMu. We sell PadMu, we sell Guido. So the Guido, I say, is just better built, and it's better catered towards musicians. And the PadMu is not. The PadMu is software on Onyx hardware. That's it. They just, you know what? Here, let's draw you guys a little schematic here. All right. So I'm going to choose here. So the Guido is two screens hinged together. There is a definitive hinge right here, and you get your screen, you get the little two things there. And this is the Guido. Can I draw a G upside down? Not really. Is that a G upside down? Whatever. Guido. The PadMu is an Onyx Books Max and another Onyx Books Max. When you buy the PadMu system, let me see if I can write that upside down. PadMu. Oh, not bad. When you buy the PadMu system, they just give you 2 boxes of Max devices. I'm not kidding. It's the Max and then another Max. In the box, in the big box of all the PadMu stuff, they'll give you a little baggie, and it has stickers in it. And they tell you, when you open these, put the stickers on the device. And it's like, well, who are you trying to fool? It's just a Max. So the Max is, when you buy the PadMu, you're just buying 2 Maxes. Like, you just get Onyx products. When you buy the Guido, you buy, can I do this? VIDO. If you guys haven't guessed, I'm filming it like, backwards so you guys can see it. If you buy the Guido, you're buying a device that's built from the ground up to be a music. Buy the Guido, you're buying a device that's built from the ground up to be a music device, and a music device only. And that's all it is. It's not anything else. It's not trying to be anything else, although it can do a bunch of things. Someone said, will any SD card work? I already answered that. It was a Star Wars reference. It was at the cantina. I don't really remember. Susie B says, I learned to read music. I would think changing pages could still be hard depending on the instrument. So a macro might help for metronome app. Yes. Got to get them macros. I don't know what a macro is. However, yes, they do have the foot pedal, and we do sell it on our site. It is an official Guido foot pedal. You can connect it via, what's the Bluetooth symbol again? It's like that. So yeah, you connect the foot pedal to the Guido via Bluetooth, and then you can go ahead and, push on the foot pedal here, and then go forward or backwards. Or you can use the little wavy things, because that's cool too. This is something I wrote for the review. I said, let's take a look at some notes. It's not the fastest, and you can see the latency is a little bit delayed. If you're a little bit patient with it, then it's all right, but it's not gonna, count. It's not gonna be as good as the Onyx. It's not gonna be as fast as the Boyu, the Supernote, etc. Does it open like a yoga laptop? Actually, to be honest, yes, it does, Susie, but that will be the last time you'll ever use this, because it does not go any further past that. That is as far as it goes. So they have 3 things going on here. They have this protective anti-opposing strap that prevents you from going past here. And that's to protect the ribbon cable. Whether you may or may not be able to go past there if you force it, I don't know. We're not going to do that, because this is very, very expensive. So we'll keep it as that. Robert Shaw, can't wait for color at this dual screen size. Robert, you are in for a treat because there is no color at this size. Unfortunately, the closest we get to this is this, which is out of batteries. This is the color 10.3 inch Big Me. This is the Big Me, and this is the one we're going to be doing at a later date. We already did an unboxing of this, and we will do a review a little bit later. This one is out of China, and as you can see, they are kind of copying the whole Remarkable thing, but it is color. As you can see, the little battery thing says it's red and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the color. This is the first e-reader ever that is using color in a 10.3 inch form that is consumer purchasable, but this is for another day. Right now, it's the Guido because that's why we are here. Do you know why that black and white glitch happens when you change pages? It happens to appear mostly e-ink systems, and it's not aesthetically pleasing. Just being curious. Oh yeah, Al. E-ink is, I mean, it's like if this is your screen. I can't remember the exact. You know what? We'll draw it bigger. There we go. So if this is your screen, e-ink is a ton of little particles. And I'm no scientist, but one of them is negatively charged and one of them is positively charged like that. And when you touch a pen or you touch your finger to the surface like that, there's your finger, there's your hand, here's your nail. So if you touch your finger, all these little particles rush to the surface, and maybe they'll skip a bit and then go back like that, and then skip a bit and go back like that. And then this is black, that's black, and that's black, and that's what creates what we see, a W, etc. So when that glitch happens, it's not like a cell phone, because when you have a cell phone, your phone is always on. It's always flickering. You can't see it, but it's always flickering. It's flashing more than your eyes can actually pick up. Right now, this device, this Guido, is not using any battery. None. Until you do something like that, just use battery. Go back, it just used battery. But in its stasis form, it does not use any battery. So that's why that glitch happens when you do things like you try to erase, you do things like you see it's going to process and it's going to flicker a bit because it needs to move those particles up and down respectively. Do you know, did you ask some pro musicians to test them out and film experience? Absolutely, Charbox, we did. Because this is so new and because we got this device only 3 days ago. Is that a 3 backwards? Oh, no, it isn't. Whatever. Because we only got this a couple days ago, we are reaching out to people locally or maybe people who have friends of the friends of the staff of Goodereader to see if anyone really knows how to make music, and we'll draw some lines and have them do like a little exhibition. For now, we were kind of blindsided by this because they're like, here's your review sample, do the work. We're like, oh no. So yeah, we kind of had to do that. But yes, we will absolutely get their opinions on it, and we will tell them nothing and just go into it blind and say, hey, look at this. What do you think? Etc. So again, Charbuck said, hang out and show these off at the music school for a while. Yeah, there's lots of music schools out here, of course. Yeah, for sure. Susie B, a macro in my mind is a recording of a number of commands to run through a song, changing the page by the beats of the music so it can go back to the stanza. Yeah, obviously you need a macro for stanzas. Yeah. Again, Susie B, very, very nice of you to chime in with that. I do appreciate that, and we will actually get some people who know how to do music to go on this because we just don't know enough about music. We're pros of our own medium, and we know everything about e-ink, and I can tell you everything about the e-ink portion of this device. But when it comes to the actual music portion, that will have to be left to the pros, which we will. I didn't think there'd be this good of a turnout, honestly, because there's 37 people watching. It's pretty impressive because mostly we get about 20 or so. So thank you guys for sticking around. This was a little bit of a better, this is a little bit better than we thought. Except for the price, this is nearest to what I need, the largest screen. 5 p.m. hazy blue. We have had tons of people say this is the do-it-all. It has the best hardware. It looks great. It won a Red Dot Award. It has the best hardware. It looks great. It won a Red Dot Award. It's got this really cool like wave thing. It does notes. It does manga. It does PDFs. It does books. It does musical scores. Of course, you can do calendars. You can do whatever you want on this. It's absolutely everything. It has a nice sleep sensor. When you close it, it turns to sleep. The whole thing has this sandpapery type of feel. It's nice and light. It's built well. It's got a nice hinge, nice rubber stoppers, but it's very expensive. And you are correct. That is It's not even an elephant in the room. It's like elephant leaning on your neck. It's very obviously an expensive unit. And our production team is actually doing a video, researching to give me scripts and stuff, to do a $200 versus $2,000 e-reader video, because we did the 100 versus I won't do it there. I'll do it over here. We did the 100 versus, that's not an S in any world, versus $1,000 e-reader. And now we will do, oh, can I do a 2 upside down? Yeah. $200 e-reader world versus $1,000 e-reader. And now we will do, oh, can I do a 2 upside down? Yeah. $200 e-reader versus this, dang it, a $2,000 e-reader, because in Australian, New Zealand, Canadian, Singapore dollars, this is about $2,000. It's nothing to shake a stick at. Or the Stylus. Let's talk about the Stylus for a second. They're not using the conventional black. They're not using the conventional black Wacom stylus that everyone uses, that, you know, MobiScribe, Onyx, the DPT S1, Boyu, everyone uses that. This one's built from the ground up and features that very nice sandpapery feel that you get on the outside of the device itself. The nibs are replaceable and it bulges right near the tip. It's really cool. It bulges out there. It's subtle, but it feels really good in the hand. You get this nice stone white band, and then you get a nice lapel clip, and tracer actually works so far away from the screen itself. It's really cool. It follows you. It's a very nice pen, and other pens work on this device too. If you are worried about whether the Guido pen will work, whether other pens will work, other pens work on this. The Supernote pen, Markable pen, the Marker Plus, everything will work on this. It's just very nice. So it's not the end of the world. You can still use any, except for the price tag. Oh, I just read that. Does it come in any other color as a team built tiny house? No, it does not. It's just this kind of stone white color. And if I put that up against a piece of paper here, do I have a piece of paper off camera? Here we go. So if I put the body color up against a piece of white paper, that's the difference. So you do have it's a stone. It's like a, I don't know, cinder block kind of color. And then there is the white. So that's the color it uses there. And another is the white. So that's the color it uses there. And another thing that a lot of people don't notice is because this was built before the whole glass screen trend. Oh, Al Bryn, gotta go. Thank you for the review. Thank you very much for joining, Al Bryn. Very, very nice questions. I really appreciate it. Have a good day from wherever you are in the world. Thank you. This was made before the whole glass screen trend blew up. These are using plastic screens, which means when you write on the screen, you actually get a very, very realistic feel. Even the Remarkable, oops, hit the table, that is spouting that we have the best paper feel, I don't believe that at all. I really don't. The Remarkable 1 is actually better than the Remarkable 2. The Sony DPT, the Quaderno, everything with the Mimas with plastic screens actually feel better than glass screens. It's just a fact. It's not my opinion, although it is my opinion and it is correct. I'm sorry, but it is. Plastic screens feel better than glass screens. And that's because when you're drawing on a phone, and no one likes that. That's why these were invented for the reason they were invented. That's why they were invented for people that were note-taking. That's why all the greats, the Mimas, the Sony DPT S1, the RP1, they all use plastic screens. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue, what is the price range? Unfortunately, it is around $2,000. It is going to break the bank. It's very expensive. We are talking to Guido about a payment plan structure to see if we can do that, but because of the international nature, it could be not very good. So yeah. Arif says hi from Turkey. Hello there. Susie B says sorry, Sony was expensive, but the audience was business mostly. Musicians are some of the most business-like people whose instruments and equipment is worth spending money on. Susie B, you are correct. When the Sony DPT came out, it was, is that right? It was around $1,400. It's really expensive. It has now gone down to around $800. So it has gone down a significant amount. So we may see this drop. When this came out, we were looking at around the $2,000 USD price point. USD. I'm never going to draw an S properly today. But right now it is 1700 USD. So that's very nice. C, SBH1FR. Does that pen work on books or Remarkable? Yes, it does. The Remarkable pen works. The Marker Plus, the Signature Stylus, the Guido, it's all interchangeable. They're all using the same Wacom layer. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue. Agreed. Team Built Tiny House, does it come in any other colors? You might have asked that before, but no, it does not. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue says another, I think it was Platitude for Remarkable. Yes, 5 p.m. Hazy Blue. We sell the Remarkable, but a lot of people buy into the Facebook ads and say the Remarkable's king, and that's number one. The Remarkable's great. It's its name. It's fantastic. I have nothing against Remarkable, both business-wise and personal-wise. It feels great. It's made out of super high-quality materials. It's ever so limiting. And the way they promote it on all these sites and YouTube and ads, they're saying like it's the be-all, end-all, but it really isn't. I mean, there are so many other devices in the e-reader scope that exist that people don't know about, this included. This is why we're doing this live today, which we're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes, because people didn't know this existed. People say, oh, technically that's from 2017. It's like, you are absolutely correct. But unless we really talk about something here at Goodereader, it might as well not exist. There's so many things we brought out: the Fujitsu, the King Jim, the Pomera keyboard, the Kaite slates. People just, keep splitting hairs and saying, technically that's a little old. And you're 100% right, but we break the stories, guys. We really do. And it's here. And this is why we're using an hour of our, and any questions you ask, we will not hold back. We will show you exactly what you want to see. Sony first paper size e-ink that I even saw was in doctor offices. That is correct. There's a lot of things that companies did before the mainstream. For example, people think color started with the JetBook and the Pocketbook. Actually, Fujifilm, for example, people think color started with the JetBook and the Pocketbook. Actually, Fujitsu did it a year before e-ink Triton was even out, back in 2009. Fujitsu did it a year before e-ink Triton was even out, back in 2009 in Japan. They were using it for exhibition purposes, and they continued doing it at like hospitals and doctor tags and stuff like that. So e-ink color, which feels like a really recent thing, is actually 12 years old at this point. So it's very interesting. The screen is messing up, ? Yeah, no, it's not the screen, guys. It's the right now the camera hardware is pulling focus randomly, and there's no way to actually lock it unless I have something static on the screen like this. No, the screen is very much, the device is very much okay. It's the camera right now. Like, it won't pull focus properly. I'm used to using actual manual focus, and this is just like, yeah, So anyways, no, the screen's very nice. The camera isn't focusing on it either. I know, it's just a messy thing here. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue, do you agree that the Remarkable one is better when it first appeared? No, the screen's very nice. The camera isn't focusing on it either. I know, it's just a messy thing here. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue, do you agree that the Remarkable one is better when it first appeared than Remarkable 2 came out? Now I don't see any improvement from Remarkable 1 and Remarkable 2. You are absolutely correct. The Remarkable 1 was great. Came out of nowhere. Like, boom, this is it. This is it, guys. Like, this is the way we need to, this is the way we need to this is it, guys. Like, this is the way we need to, this is the way we need to have it. This is it. This is fantastic. And then what happened was Remarkable 2 came out, and it was a minor upgrade, a little bit upgrade in materials, but the writing was actually a little bit downgraded because it had the glass screen, and it just wasn't that materials. But the writing was actually a little bit downgraded because it had the glass screen, and it just wasn't that impressive. And it wasn't like, wow, this is like the greatest thing I've ever used. It was kind of like, well, there's so many other things on the market now, and it's kind of like just another dime a dozen, but they really go crazy with their advertising, and they try to make it like, look like the bee's knees, which again, they really go crazy with their advertising, and they try to make it like, look like the bee's knees, which again, it's pretty nice. Yeah, the Remarkable 1 was really cool, and it had these 3 square things on it, and the back had an all aluminum backing. And now the Remarkable Deuce has this little side thing, and man, everyone has copied them, even the Big Me. Like, they, the Onyx copied them, the Note Air, the Big Me, the iReader Smart. Everyone copies this kind of asymmetrical two-tone color strip on the side. It's cool. It's a good idea, but come on, man, make your own things. I don't know. I'm just nitpicking. The Remarkable 2 screen was glass, and unfortunately didn't feel as good as the 1. This is the 1. This is the 2. So a lot of people said they missed the authentic, raw, paper-like feel. And they're not buying into that. This is even things from 2014, like, oh no. How do we draw 4? Like the DPT by Sony feels better than the 2. So yeah. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue again says, looking forward to the day I can purchase a Guido. 5 p.m. Hazy Blue again says, looking forward to the day I can purchase a Guido as a layperson. Thanks for the showcase. No problem. We have stopped doing lives every week. Reason being, there was a lot of hate on the comments that we had to screen, and we don't want to do that. And we lost a lot of subscribers for some reason. So even though we've devoted a great deal of our time out of our busy schedules to give back to you guys and show you things, we lost a ton of people, and it actually turned people off. I'm not sure why. We don't want to operate as a faceless company, but we want to give back. But if giving back is actually detrimental to us, we're gonna maybe space it out a bit. Guido is a very unique brand, and this is why we did this showcase, because you can't walk into a store and just buy this. Can't walk into a store and use this. You can't walk into a store and even try this. It's nowhere. It's not like you go to a store and you try the new iPhone 12 and you're like, wow, this is great. No, this is Guido. This is e-ink is already niche, and within that, I love this little. I can draw stuff here for you. So e-ink looks like this, right? And let's go back here. Here we go. So in the world of consumer electronics, little tiny square, there's like cell phones and computers and TVs and stuff, right? Like TVs, computers, cell phones, etc., right? Right here is e-ink. And inside e-ink is a little tiny square that is for musicians. And there's only 2 on the market right now, and e-ink is already niche. And if you just put a little niche market within e-ink, a lot of people just don't know what you're talking about. They don't know why they should buy this. They don't know, why is it so expensive? Oh, my iPad is $400. It does more than that. Well, you are absolutely correct. An iPad's going to mop the floor with this. You are absolutely correct. An iPad's going to mop the floor with this. This does absolutely nothing compared to a standard tablet or standard iPad. But this is no different than looking at a piece of paper. It has really cool technological features like Wacom integration with no batteries. It has extreme battery life, and it's perfect for musicians. And it's adding things like, the side wave page turns that nobody does. It's an e-reader, music-centric device. They're doing things nobody does, and that's why you should buy this. Again, we're not trying to sell this on you. We're just trying to give you a showcase and have this as a VOD so you can watch it later. If you're planning on buying this to read books and, read magazines and PDFs so you can watch it later. If you're planning on buying this to read books and, read magazines and PDFs, go somewhere else. Buy something else. I implore you. This is too much money for you. It's too much. No, I'm not saying for you guys. I wouldn't buy this. It's expensive. But if I was a musician like Susie B here, and who else did we have a little bit earlier on? We had William Hostman. And you are a musician, and you're a serious musician. You got one of those, I don't know, like those, a violin that some super famous guy used, and it's like 50 grand. You need this because it's the only e-ink device that's going to do it for you. So you got no choice. And that's kind of what Guido was kind of leaning to, I think. So I do really appreciate you guys watch. If it's the only one, you got no choice. And that's kind of what Guido was kind of leaning to, I think. So I do really appreciate you guys watching. And I hope this show answered as many questions as we possibly could. If you do want to see more on this, that camera, man, what do I have to put on the screen to lock that focus? Oh, I'll put the watchy. This is the watchy, by the way. It's a $50 e-ink smartwatch. It is a little bit silly because it has an exposed battery with an exposed PCB. They are making an aluminum anodized case, and we'll touch on that in a future live. And today, my good old pal Michael is out right now because he is doing some personal things. So he will be back when we do another live next time. But thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be touching on the Watchy coming up soon. We're going to be touching on the Big Me coming up soon. We even have this, which has proven to be very popular, the Sony HUIS home appliance remote. It's really cool, and it's all made in Japan. It's made out of high quality e-ink. That's coming out soon. As you can see, everything's out of batteries because we only focus on one thing at a time. Thanks, you guys, for joining. Really appreciate it, seriously. And if you guys want to see showcases on anything else, leave a comment and let us know what you want to see. That's why we do this. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Keep checking GoodeReader.com, and we do appreciate all of you guys for commenting, watching, keeping up to date with the ink, and we'll do the same. We'll deliver the content as best we can. Thanks, guys.